Nessa girl, you know what I just figured out? The reason I love Married to Medicine so much and why it's been so good this season is because whenever you leave from an episode, you leave feeling a gamut of emotions. So I just sat down and watched Real Housewives of Atlanta because that was the most recent thing with Love and Hip Hop I gotta watch. I watched Housewives and I didn't really walk away feeling from nothing. I just called y'all on some old... I called you from an obligatory place, like I gotta do it. With Married to Medicine, I just got through watching it. Though it's last Friday's episode, you walk away feeling something. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm mad as fuck right now. And I'm trying to understand, okay, what has me mad? This episode just pissed me off on so many levels, and I guess we're gonna try to talk about it. For one, let me start out by saying this. I didn't like that show that Jewel Tanker was on, but I respect and enjoy the words of anybody who is practical. Jewel is very practical, and she told Heavenly exactly what the problem is. You expecting everybody else to be vulnerable and tell all their goddamn business, but you don't want to tell shit of your own. Now, the thing that bothered me and where I still think Heavenly is full of shit at is the simple fact that Jewel told her something so basic that a blind person could see, and Heavenly is acting as if, oh, she's just now understanding this simply because Jewel pointed it out to her. I'm sorry, I just refuse to believe that a woman who is in the range of 50 years old, who is a doctor of dentistry, can't pick up on something so rudimentary. I'm not buying it. And I think that's why people get so frustrated with Heavenly, because it's like, bitch, you know better. Like, Heavenly, you have got to know that everything you did at that damn dinner was wrong. And I think what's annoying me with Married to Medicine, and I just realized while I'm upset as I think this through in my head, it pisses me off to no end when big problems are created out of things so small. Like, baby, let me tell y'all something. I am very well equipped to deal with major problems. Major problems don't bother me because those are the ones that need to be dealt with, argued out, fought out, fussed out. It's that little petty shit that works my last nerve. Not because it's petty, but because it doesn't have to be. There go Miss Quad being late. I told y'all that last week. Quad is always late. And I gotta think, like when she apologized to Simone for being late, it was a hollow apology. Your apology don't mean shit because you apologized before and it's not gonna prevent you from doing it again. But instead of harping on her being late, because I got some family members, particularly my stepmom family, who is just habitually late. I don't understand how people are late. I'm never late. For the most part, I'm normally the first person that gets somewhere. Now, let me tell y'all about me. Timetables and schedules give me anxiety. I don't like to be rushing. I don't like to be staying to my house to the very last minute, then trying to ride, 5 minutes before the time. Now, I gotta stop and get gas. This traffic, the train came, now you 45. I just don't understand how it is that people are late. I've got other friends and they'll be like, okay, we gonna meet at the restaurant at 9 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, as I'm putting on my shoes, getting ready to leave the house, I call one of them, oh yeah, I just got out the shower. So my thing is, 45 minutes in advance, I can already tell you not gonna be on time. Why is it okay that you feel that I don't mind sitting there waiting, but you don't want to be the first person there because you don't want to wait on nobody? Like, it is a lack of respect. I don't think it's intentional. I don't think that's the person's intentions. But subsequently and inadvertently, it's just a lack of respect for people's time. And I've got a friend that taught me a trick, and I promise you, I don't have late issues with my friends no more. The first time somebody does you like that, when y'all have an appointment, you let it ride. The second time, you leave without calling their ass, and then when they get there, You tell them, oh, I left, maybe we should do this again next time. I promise you, one or two things will happen. Y'all won't be friends no more because they'll be so damn mad, or they'll make sure to get there on time. Or three, at least say well before you leave the house, hey girl, I need another 30 minutes. That way you can stay home another 30 minutes. Nonetheless, Simone did word one thing well. You know what, some people, you can't just speak with them. You have to speak around subjects, or when you try to tell them something, they want to nitpick everything. So when Simone used the word sensitive, Quad couldn't receive it because she like, bitch, I ain't any more or less sensitive than anybody else is. Simone worded it perfectly. She said, we can't tell you hard truths, or we don't tell you hard truths. And it is the truth, because I'm just keeping it real. And this a hard truth I'm telling. Because I don't tell you hard truths because it's too much aggravation dealing with you afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like the calling and the harassment, the why you did this, the why you did that. I don't understand. The crying is just a lot. So to keep people from dealing with it, they just don't say shit to you. That was one hard truth that I told. And I totally get what Simone was saying because it is the truth. Listen, Curtis was not here for sleeping his ass down to that guest room. And you know what? I feel a kind of way about Curtis, you ugly bitch. Like, I'm just mad as fuck with Curtis because he is not, in my opinion, Curtis has not humbled himself to the level in which he should to make up for the level of crime that he goddamn committed. Like, Curtis, the response he had to Jackie, like, I gotta sleep down here, this wasn't part of the plan. But you fucking a bitch at your homeboy house wasn't part of the plan either, but I'm still rolling with it, ain't I? So roll with it. But it goes to show, in my opinion, that he never took Jackie and this sabbatical serious. It says to me that in his mind, he was like, man, I'm gonna go over here and fool la real quick at the hotel, at the Airbnb, and when she get over, I'll be back and everything will be all good. Like, he was not expecting to get no kind of punishment or anything, and he feeling away, and I'm feeling away. Like, you ought to be glad this woman didn't divorce you. Now, as soon as Curtis get in there and fuck her good one good time, he gonna be back running shit. I got a feeling Curtis strike me as the type that's gonna walk in there any day now and be like, bitch, I ain't sleeping downstairs. Move over. And what she gonna do, y'all? Move over. I just ain't really, Going back to my emotions. Greg and Juan with that marital counseling, it just worked my nerves because I just really do think they are at an impasse. And what I've learned just going through my own shit with people and family members and people I love deeply, like, it's just a wrap when nobody wants to surrender. When nobody wants to wave the white flag. And Mark told them best, somebody gotta surrender in this situation. Either surrender in the situation or surrender to the situation. And I honestly think they should both surrender to the situation. I think they both unhappy. Quad don't want Greg and Greg don't want Quad. Greg wants a wife for everything that a wife symbolizes and for all the comforts and the luxuries of having a wife. Quad wants somebody she in love with. Cause shit, she said without saying, she said to the people, and I'm supposed to be in love with that, implying that I'm not in love with that. That's what I took from it. And we all see it, the world see it, it's there. Quite frankly now, I used to be picking sides from week to week, like, oh, Quad wrong, oh, Greg wrong. No, both of y'all wrong, both of y'all, you know what, let me take wrong out of it. There's actually nothing wrong with Greg or Quad, other than the simple fact that neither one of them want the other. That's all, and there's nothing wrong with that, just as long as they both be honest and move the fuck on. Like Maya said, I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. I'll be moving. Contessa and her husband. Why Contessa done been on here a whole season and I don't know her husband's name? Dr. Contessa's husband. While I think he is very supportive and I actually think I love he and Contessa's marriage the most, something about his level of honesty hurts my feelings because I feel like he's rubbing salt in a wound with Contessa. He already knows that Contessa is feeling a way about the kids and missing the kids, you know, sporting events and recitals and stuff. And then it's like when she comes home and she's beat from a long day's work, then you want to share with her all the things she missed and all the, you know, things that the daughter said about missing mommy, so on and so forth. And it makes her feel even worse and bring her to tears. And I've always been of the mindset that if I'm your family, if I'm your friend and I love you, sometimes it's not my job to tell you everything. Sometimes it's my job to protect you. And I'm not saying speak to her in a manner that's, you know, counter reality, but it's all about timing. And perhaps he could have shared some of those things with her when her defenses were much higher and not when she was already beat down. Nonetheless, what I always said, never tear nobody down without extending a hand to lift them up. Now, when Contessa brought up that not working shit the first time, Daddy wasn't with it. He saw that pain and strife on her face, and Contessa said, you know, I think if we organize, we can live off of your income. And Daddy said, you know, go ahead and let's do it. And I support him and I love him and I think that's what a man's supposed to do for a wife. I got a friend that's got 2 kids and she was like, you know, she feels more women than not would prefer to stay home with their kids if their financial situation allowed them to without having to make a huge compromise to their lifestyle. The real gag is Contessa and them ain't fucking living off that damn one income bitch. She just figured the money she finna make for doing 13 weeks worth of filming and married to medicine, then she don't have to work the rest of the year and make the same amount of money, if not more. That's what the fuck they figured the fuck out. And when the cameras stopped rolling, Contessa told his ass, I'ma stop working and I'm just gonna do the married to medicine job, cause yes bitch, you can miss 13 weeks worth of recitals and shit for your damn kids. They ass to be alright. My parents missed all mine and I turned out just fine. I be angry sometimes, but it ain't got nothing to do with recitals. It's because I'm from Miami. But nonetheless, you do your little 13 weeks and you can still take care of your family. So while we cracking jokes and laughing, I'm glad that there was a compromise found that suits your family and y'all's needs. The DNA fashions, y'all. Who was in charge of the fashion girls? Who was in charge? I think Mariah slayed them hoes. And y'all know I don't be having much to give to Miss Mariah, but she came through. Oddly enough, I'm not a fan of the one piece, but Contessa served they ass too. Heavenly, in my opinion, was 3. Dr. Jackie and Curtis ass should have been put the fuck out for not wanting to participate. There go Jackie again. She could see Jackie strike me as the type of her perfectionist ass. I thought she would have went and got her old original Kente Cloth imported from the Africa, okay? But no, she had to go to Saks and get her a little piece of something. She too classy based for me, okay? Sometimes we need you to be black like this and not like this, Miss Jackie, but I'm gonna let you have it. You go over there strumming through your pain with your fingers and your husband. Yet alone, bitch, the main event. I'm gonna say this. This season don't like this I don't give a damn rich white woman attitude that Quad has been giving the girls. It's like she's there, but she's not present. So everything's a joke, it's a laugh, it's a, you know, it's very dismissive. That's the word I was looking for. Quad's whole attitude and demeanor this season has been dismissive. You know, I don't care how you slice it and dice it. And perhaps it's a defense mechanism from being tired. You know, Quad has been the focus of a lot of this shit going through stuff at home, so I get it. Aside from getting it and completely understanding it, I still don't like it, and the two things exist mutually exclusive of one another. Nonetheless, I feel feel Eugene's frustration because I think that scene is really what put me over the top emotionally. I walked away from this shit feeling like y'all bitches dumb. Y'all just dumb because y'all always fucking arguing over some dumb shit. And I get Eugene, but I think what pissed me off even more, Heavenly was guilty of the very thing she came down on Eugene for, which is we're over here having an argument. Eugene felt it was his place to chastise and correct the group, which it wasn't. And then Heavenly in turn felt like it was her place to chastise and correct Eugene, which made things escalate even more because Heavenly is ignorant as all fuck and she can't never contain herself. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else I don't get down with. I don't get down with women doing and saying whatever they want or participating in bad behavior, and then a man is not allowed to say anything about it by virtue of the fact that he's a man. So Eugene was present, Dr. Damon wasn't, and in order for Eugene to express himself, he's got to either go to their husbands or speak to his wife, who has to then carry the message back. That's too much work. Listen, there was no threat of physical violence. There was no one was intimidated. Eugene was not going to hurt anyone. Aside from him using the N-word, I find no problem with how Eugene addressed them. It was like, y'all need to cut it out. That don't have no gender. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, what I hate with women is y'all pick and choose when y'all want to use that gender shit. When it worked to your advantage, you all about women can be mean, we can do what they do. You know, the minute it don't work for your cause, now all of a sudden it's I'm a woman, treat me as such, you a man, act as such. I don't like them blurred lines. I mean, from the time I've been a kid, I just never really got into that whole thing. I'm just of the belief that if you treat everybody as humans, on just the that's too nuanced. Let's treat us on the most basic level as humans. If you just treat everybody as human, you ain't even got to get into the ins and outs of you treat a woman this way, but treat a man this way. I don't like all that shit. And Heavenly, you was ignorant in that situation. Now, yeah, I get it. As black people, we got this thing that there's shit that we'll do in front of each other, but not do in front of white people. And had he called them niggas at a private dinner and them cameras was rolling, nobody wouldn't have given a fuck. Because let's just face it, in the black community, that is our code speak. But we keep that speak in-house. And we all understood what he was saying. They were less offended by the fact that Eugene called them niggas. They didn't care about that. They were totally offended about the fact that he did it in front of white folks on a white people platform. And that's just true tea, because black people, that's how we do it. Am I right or am I right? You know what I'm saying? It don't make it right. But I can assure you, 70% of that, not even 70% of that group, everybody in that group, I know for a fact, uses the word nigga and niggas freely, with the exception. I can't say that for Dr. Jackie, and I don't know Contessa well enough, but everybody else in that group, I have heard them use it just as casually, the way we use it in pop culture today. So this offense by the word, girl, bad. And with that being said, I hope Love and Hip Hop make me feel better, because I really got a fucking attitude right now. Maybe I need to eat. And I'll call you later, Nessa girl. Bad.